Hi guys, welcome to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a tour around one of our renovation projects in sunny Stoke-on-Trent, just a stone's throw from the local Royal Hospital. Let's take a look inside. We're going to convert this 2-bed terrace into a 4-bed all-ensuite HMO. Let's go. So this was the former living room and we're now converting it into bedroom 1. So we're putting an ensuite inside. We're not having a kitchenette in this one because there's not quite enough room, but we'll show you in a second just how we can utilise this space really well and achieve top rents. Now there is active work going on, of course, so we're having deliveries, we've got tradesmen in and out, so that's why we've come down on a Saturday just so we've got a bit of space and quiet so we can show you guys. So let's come on in. So this is the smallest of the 4 rooms. Now, one of the things that drew us to this property was the fact that we didn't have to go back to brick. So a lot of the walls don't even need plaster work. Now, obviously this saves on cost. We've had projects before where we have to go back to brick to reboard the whole house and it creates mess. And now on a busy terrace street, we haven't got room for a skip. So mess was like a #1 priority. With regards to the walls, all that's required really is some chasing up, patching and a little bit of skim. Big thumbs up, big cost saving. We have a look over here. There is work ongoing. So the tilers are in today actually on a Saturday and they're doing the ensuite. These en-suites for a HMO of this size are generously big. We don't like going really for the small quadrant showers. We feel like they're a little bit cramped. It's going to be finished in tile. We want to minimise sort of wood and plaster and paint in bathrooms to obviously minimise maintenance as well. But there's another reason why we want to make these en-suites look absolutely amazing, and that's because there's a lot of competition for HMOs in the local area. Just like across the country, HMOs are becoming more common and we really want to stand out when people choose and go down spare room and, you know, they want to choose ours. Our rooms want to stand out. So this is why we're doing into the utmost highest finish to attract the best tenants and the best clientele. Coming out the first room into the kitchen. Now this kitchen is massive. It's 13 square meters and the lucky tenant in this first room is going to have it all to themselves because every other room in the house will have their own dedicated kitchenette with cooking facilities, washing facilities, fridge, freezer. So it's going to be a fully fitted kitchen, but there's only going to be used by 1 occupant. I mean, people can store food and things in here, but for all intents and purposes, each of the rooms with kitchenettes are going to be self-contained. So I also just want to talk about the metal frame ceiling and obviously how it aids us in the process of renovation, because you might notice that we are at stage of first fixing. So all the ceilings are very high, so we thought that we'd drop them. Obviously for U values, it helps with insulation, but the other benefits of this metal frame ceiling is that it saves so much time. I'm a plumber, so we've been plumbing on this house, running pipes, running wires for the spark. We're on week 5 and we're pretty much ready for skim. So without the metal frame ceilings, it would have definitely pushed the project back. So all of downstairs got metal framed, and what it allowed us to do as well for the en-suites upstairs, we could run all the pipes, all the waste pipes, all the extractor fans, all in the metal frame ceiling without having to take up floorboards, which is time consuming. It's obviously costly, more labour. Time is of the essence, and the metal frame ceilings aren't massively expensive, but they have helped us massively in pushing that project forward. The only rear entrance to the property was in the old utility, so we're now moving that and putting a door in here. It doesn't really matter that we haven't got much worktop space because, like I say, there's only going to be 1 occupant that's going to be using this kitchen. It is a shared kitchen, everyone can use it, but the majority of people will spend most of the time in the rooms. So, which is good because people are almost self-contained and they don't see other tenants. They almost feel like they have their own flat in theory. So the happier tenants are in their own private spaces, the longer they want to stay and the less changeovers we have. So this is why we want to just make the most, you know, the best living experience for our tenants, because obviously financially it's good for us as well. And we'll head into the utility as well. There was walls, L shapes, it was just a bit all over the place, a bit of a void space really. And one of the things that I think put a lot of people off buying this property and converting it to a HMO was this utility and what to do with it. So we've had a structural engineer and our builders come around and we've been banging heads. Well, for the first 2 or 3 weeks, we were backing and forthing on what to do in here because of the layout, and the flat roof was being supported by certain walls. So in the end, we've concluded to knock the wall out that was here, put the lintel here, and support the existing flat roof with some larger joists, thus not needing any steels and also not needing the walls that were coming around here that was the old WC outbuilding. Now, if you can imagine, the ensuite for this room will be in this section here. So we're going to have this all studied off, and it's going to be a massive ensuite. This ensuite is bigger than most people's main bathrooms. So this room is really going to be probably our most premium offering for the property. Also, there was 2 steps down. We've raised the floor as well, and obviously we're in the process of insulating. Building regs are coming on Monday, so fingers crossed we all get it ticked off and we can start dropping the wires in, which you've seen in the kitchen are just literally waiting to go in. This is also single skin brick, so to make this a habitable room, we are getting the metal frame contractors in to stud the walls, and they're not going to use this, they're going to use something called super quilt insulation. So they're going to put that on the walls, and then that gives the U values so that obviously building regs on the second visit can sign it off, and it will be classed as a livable, habitable space. Planning permission is not needed because it's only internal and we're not changing any external features. Just building regs approval to convert it into that livable space. So again, this is a huge room. This will be probably the first room to go. People do like downstairs rooms from the other properties that we've left before. People do tend to go for downstairs rooms. So if you could just visualize as well, the kitchenette for this room is going to go along here as well, and it'll also help cover the soil pipe that comes through there. The bed's going to go in that corner. Yeah, it's going to be a really nice space, and we're going to obviously increase the size of this window. That old door was here, so that's what we're just going to put the door in the kitchen. We've got a fire escape window there. Obviously, we've got to comply to all fire regulations and everything for a HMO. We've done before, so boxes are all getting ticked. Let's take a look upstairs. So just before we go upstairs, I want to just show you the metal frame ceiling and how easily it's made the rewire process possible for the electrician. So we've actually had to move the fuse board from that room, which is why we've got this huge armoured cable. It's now going to be here, so all the tenants can access the electrics without having to obviously enter the room of that tenant in there. And again, so most of these walls are ready to paint. Obviously, the only bit of plaster work in the hallway and downstairs is filling the chases. So in terms of, finishing on the walls cost-wise, we've dropped on really. It's one of the things that drew my attention to this house and what made me offer on it, because wood chip wallpaper, it's costly to get off, it's time consuming, and when you take it off, chances are you need to reboard the walls. So big tick in the box for obviously this house in that regard. So this one is bedroom number 3. It's one of the 2 bedrooms upstairs. Now the existing bathroom was in that corner. And with regards to the soil pipe and mains pipe work, we dropped on really again with the setup. So the mains bathroom, we've just sort of rotated round, and now we've turned that into the ensuite for this room. So again, decent sized room, bed's gonna go here. We've got wiring for the bedside lights. Really important to get everything marked out with your electrician beforehand if you do want bedside lighting, exactly where the beds are gonna go, because it can't be done after. So what I was saying downstairs, this is the super quilt insulation. We aren't doing every external wall, only the walls that we thought we'd get the benefit for the U values. So obviously keeping costs down is of priority in a HMO, as we, the landlord, pay the bills. This just keeps the room more insulated and keeps U values up as well. So the metal frame contractors, they have been doing all of this work. So with regards to this external wall that they're studying out in metal frame. So we've got a lot of work for them. So when the lads are on site, a lot can get done. It's really quick. It pins to the wall with a pin gun. And then they will then obviously overboard over this metal framing. That's the super quilt. It's 100 quid a roll. It sounds a lot, but you could do a large area with it, and it makes a massive difference. I actually put this around me the other day just to feel how warm it was, and it's absolutely sweltering. So this room will be a really warm room, insulated from noise and insulated from loss of heat as well. So the benefits are good. We just want to make the property the most efficient in any way we can without spending too much money. I didn't show you downstairs, but all the en-suites are done in metal frame as well. Speed and obviously fire safety goes without saying. You can get these, so the 3 en-suites that they've done, 2 lads got them up in one day. So that just goes to show sort of how quick the process is. More time saving for us, and obviously the project doesn't drag. You can get it rented sooner than later. So just to get your bearings on what's going to be here, this is going to be a kitchenette, like an L-shaped kitchenette. In all of the kitchenettes, we are doing wall-mounted microwaves to maximise worktop space. And in all of the kitchenettes as well, we'll have 2 ring hob, so cooking facilities will be available. Extractor fans are obviously here as well, and in the bathroom. We have heat sensors, smoke sensors, because we don't want the smoke alarm in the house going off every time someone burns toast, which is why we have the heat sensors as well. The room with the kitchenettes are almost like studio flats in theory. So we, as HMO providers, are competing with studio flats. Now, the cost of a studio flat, by the time you've paid your obviously rates and bills, are equal to, if not more, than something like this. These HMO rooms that are done to a good standard are becoming a really attractive option for tenants who are looking to stay, for example, 6 months, 12 months, staying at the hospital, for example, people who aren't in the area for very long, professionals who want a decent quality, self-contained living space, but they don't want to commit to a long AST for a flat. They have the option to come to our rooms and get the best experience. Now in the ensuite, it is actually the smallest ensuite in the property, but as far as ensuites go, it's decent size. I have done HMOs before where the ensuites have been absolutely tiny. We've had quadrant shower trays, and personally, like I said downstairs, 1,000 by 70 square tray makes a massive difference. It doesn't feel like you're showering in a coffin. So again, in terms of a room, this is probably up there with one of the more premium. And in terms of what the offerings are in Stoke, again, we are up there with some of the best offerings. The fourth and final room of the property, again, one of the largest, probably similar size to the utility. We've got a huge ensuite as well in there. Tilers are coming next week, which is why we've all set it out for them. So we're on week 5, guys, and bathrooms have been tiled. Bathrooms will also start to be fitted back end of next week as well. And in here, we're pretty much ready for skim, just like the rest of the property. So we have got plasterers in and out as well next week. So I reckon paint on the walls in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Once obviously it's plastered, we can start getting the kitchenettes in as well. So this room's gonna have a kitchenette. We're gonna have an L-shaped sort of little wraparound kitchenette here. Again, we've got wiring for the extractors and the smoke detectors and everything like in the other room. And then the bed's gonna go under the window. Not ideal, but it's the only place we could get it with the layout. So this is the ensuite for the 4th bedroom. Just want to talk about the extraction in the ensuites. It is a building regs requirement to have extraction in all the ensuites, but what isn't a requirement is to have fans that run consistently and constantly. Now all our fans will be on constant, just to minimise the event of mould and damp. I know obviously we have to rely on tenants to turn the light on when they use the shower or turn the light on when they use the facilities. Having them on constant, really low, it uses no electricity, but it just ensures that we keep the room damp free. Obviously going forward 10, 15 years out, it can make a big difference. Another big tick in the box for this property is the soil pipe location. So 3 of the ensuites are all fed from this soil pipe. Now, one thing to note when doing a HMO conversion and doing all ensuites is how are you going to run the soil pipes? Because you've got a big 4-inch soil pipe. Where are you going to put it? Are you going to dig it in the floor? Are you going to run it through the ceilings? It can mount to large costings. So when we noticed that the soil pipe ran right in the corner of the external of the property, we could just go out the wall and tee on. It's a dream for a plumber, really. So there have been things in the property that we haven't obviously dropped on, again with the utility and the work involved there. But all in all, we've done really well, especially for the purchase price as well, which we'll talk about later. Now, I know we haven't touched on numbers, but I just want to briefly go over what is expected for a room like this. So obviously, you've got the ensuite and the kitchenette. There are HMOs out there that are pushing the boundaries in Stoke for what is achievable rent-wise. One of my friends has just achieved 775 for a kitchenette ensuite room in Stoke. It's about 5 minutes from here. So if we want to lowball it and say 700 for a kitchenette ensuite room, I'd be absolutely over the moon with that. They are becoming a really desirable option, as I mentioned before, in opposed to a studio apartment. Also, employment in Staffordshire and obviously locally is held up massively by Royal Stoke Hospital, which is a huge hospital, employs thousands of people, and you've got Bet365. Can actually see as well, there is a huge industrial estate just at the back here. So we've got Amazon, we've got Morrison's distribution centre, we've got a large hub of employment. So this area really for HMOs is absolutely perfect. You don't need a car to get to work. The majority of people that live around here commute by walking or cycling. It is a busy street, but it doesn't really matter. It's in the central hub of Stoke and employment is plentiful. So these are all the things that we do look at, obviously, before buying. So it's not just a case of buying a terrace house in any street and doing this conversion. There's a checklist that we have to go down, and this house ticked all the boxes, and obviously the purchase price as well really ticked the box. So on average on this street, house prices varied between, in the past, 80 and 120,000. Recently, you would struggle to get one under 100. We actually got this for 100, and I will attribute this to buying before Christmas. So We did the deal on December 21st of last year when everyone's asleep, everyone clocks off. That's when the best deals can be done. It was a motivated seller as well, which did help the case. We came in at 100, which it was initially on for 120. We came in at 100 cash purchase and she went for it, obviously with the intention of a quick sale, which we could provide because obviously it was a cash purchase, so no mortgage, nothing holding it up. Excluding the Christmas break, we were like 5 or 6 weeks on completion, which is crazy. But obviously, you know, it's allowed us to get cracking and hopefully we'll get this rented in the next 5 or 6 weeks as well. I know I keep talking about time frame and how time is of the essence, obviously with a project like this, which is why we've gone to the extent that we have with certain elements like the metal framing and everything like that. We expect to have this completed in 10 weeks from start to finish, which in regards to a turnaround of this type, it's quick. So if it is something you are interested in, even just having a conversation, you are interested in getting into HMOs in Stoke or any other area and you want to talk about the process, you want to talk about regulations, and if you just want to have a conversation about what we do as a company in terms of development as well, we might be able to help you with the development of your HMO. Quick turnaround and efficiency is what we pride ourselves in as well. Drop me a message or I'll leave my email in the pinned comments and you can have a conversation then. So guys, that concludes the tour of our latest HMO renovation. Stay tuned for the next video. We're going to talk about numbers and we're going to talk about how we can potentially pull all of the money that we put in out of this deal, so it's a no money down deal. We're going to talk about that in the next video. See you guys later.